Hello, good evening at home, and Happy New Year. You're tuning in to From the Basement to the Upper Room. I am your host, Michael Riley. Um, and again, we're on the first Friday of every month from 7:30 p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. live here on Lapa 28. Um, at home, I hope that you are doing well, and I pray for your health and your strength and your contentment. At the beginning of the program, you just saw a tribute, and that tribute was to my and your beloved Mom Riley. Um, and it saddens me to share with you at home that I feel the loss because Mom went home to be with the Lord on December the 22nd. And we had her homegoing service on December the 29th. I can't thank the Congo family, the Congo organization, from the door to the boardroom, for the wonderful job that they did in preparing my mother for her homegoing service and taking care of me and my family. And I just want to endorse them and say that, yes, you are the premier service for funeral direction and pre-planning services. You're just the cream of the cream. And Mr. C and Mrs. C, I want to thank you, and Trippy and Kimmy and the whole family and staff for supporting us. This isn't the first time you handled the homegoing service for a family member of ours, and there's a reason why we continue to entrust the care of our loved ones to you, and that's because you're the best. And to all my friends and family who are tuning in tonight, oh my goodness, the love that you shared with us, the beautiful memories that you shared about Mom Riley, it just warmed our heart beyond measure. And I'm eternally grateful for you for thinking of us during our time of sorrow. And you know, when you're going through something, of course it hurts like an indescribable thing. The pain is great and the tears are frequent. But the word says, there may be weeping at night, but joy cometh in the morning. And once I was able to realize, number one, I didn't lose my mother because I know where she went. She went to be with the Lord. And I thank God for his wisdom in knowing what's best in any given situation. He knows when we're weary and we've done all that he had for us to do. And I literally saw my mother being delivered back into the arms of God. She was truly a woman of God with her dying words, amen. So powerful. The thing that I will hold on to more than anything, and that is a lesson that my mother taught me. And it was really simple. It took her a long time to drill it into me, though, because I was stubborn. That message was, it's not all about me. And I was like, well, if I don't take care of me, who's going to take care of me? She didn't mean it that way. She didn't want me to forsake myself in terms of using common sense to take care of myself. No, she's just saying that life involves more than just what I care about at a given time. And sometimes there's someone else with a need greater than my own. And it's like, that was a ministry for my mother. She had a knack for being able to connect with people. You know, her phone rang constantly every day that I can remember. I'm 53 years old, and Mom's phone been ringing for 53 years at least, because I can always remember her, you know, on the phone and not gossiping. No, she was a listener, and my mother understood people, and she knew that it's better to love on people than to hate on people. And I think it helps that she had a background as a psychiatric attendant working at the Delaware State Hospital for 20 years. So she understood when people were in distress. She understood when people were going through even before they knew it. And she just was a blessed woman with a ton of faith. And she never lost her connection with God. So, you know, don't have pity. Don't have pity, because this woman is to be celebrated, in my opinion. No more pain, no more sorrow, no more struggles. And I know for a fact when she got in front of her Creator, He said, well done, my good and faithful servant. So I also want to say that I was so thankful for people checking in on me, people who've always been there for me. Bishop Aretha Morton, you know, yeah, Dr. Donald and Lorraine and everybody. I'm her baby too. I know she's loved me for the majority of my life, ever since I've known her. She's had nothing but love for me and nothing but strength to lend and faith to lend. So, Bishop, I thank you. Thank you for the loving sentiments that you shared at Mom's homegoing service. All of her mothers from Tabernacle and all of the church family at the Well. Pastor Will Shelley, he actually preached Mom's eulogy, and he just did a wonderful job. It was a powerful, powerful service. I've had people come up to me and saying that even though they didn't know my mother, they were touched and changed by the testimonies and the sentiments that were shared concerning her life. And they said that it made them look at what they valued in life. You see, you know, we spend a lot of time judging how we're doing in this world by what we acquire, what we can afford to maintain, where we live, who we associate with, you know, and when it lines up with projected images, we tend to pat ourselves on the back and we think that we got it all together. But when a wealthy person has come up to me and said that my poor little humble mother, who never made a lot of money in this world, changed his life. And when he said he's seeing things a little differently, I think he's taking stock of what he places value on, what he wants his legacy to be. And that leads me to pose a question for you. I know it's one that I've posed to myself, and that is, what do I want my legacy to be? You know, God has blessed me with mercy, and I don't know how many chances. My story could have ended at age 24, overdosed on the basement. Could have ended. I was on my way out had he not intervened. And he told me, hey, this is how they're going to remember you. He showed me what it was. And he said, is that what you want? And my answer was no. And he spared me. He spared me so that I could allow him to get to work within me. Because I tried to fix me. Didn't do a good job. I was always ending up with pieces left over after I tried to put myself back together. You know, some people say I had a screw loose. Nah, I had a whole handful of screws loose because I didn't know where they went. But over the course of time, you know, God said that, look, there's a reason why I didn't take you. There's a purpose for your life. He didn't tell me right away what it was, so I had to struggle a little longer before I found a lane where maybe I belong, you know, which is, my lane, I believe, is to give a testimony, not for my own popularity, not for my own ego, to give a testimony because sometimes you're the only reflection of what God's work looks like that a person may see in a given day. I was on my way into the studio this evening, and Brother Dave is sitting here with me, and Deanna's in the control room, and they witnessed it as well. We saw a young man out front, and I don't know what the thermometer reads, but it's cold. And I saw the brother was really cold and underdressed. And I simply asked him, I said, do you have a coat? And he said, no. Well, you know, I only live a couple blocks from the studio. Somebody had just given me a coat for Christmas, and it didn't fit. It didn't fit me. Too small. So I said, look, man, I only live around the corner. I'm going to go get you a coat. Well, I get home, somebody gave me a hat. Well, I already had a hat on my head, so I'm not going to use this hat. So I put that in there. And then I was on my way out the door, and there's some gloves. Well, I don't even wear gloves, but I had them. So I put the gloves together. And then I get back here, and I learned that, and I give it to the brother, and he's overwhelmed. But I learned that Dave had invited him to come in out the cold. And Deanna made him a cup of coffee. And you better believe me, that young man's life is changed as of tonight. His life, he will never be the same. He said that he couldn't have conversations with people because he felt like people were always judging him and putting him down, so he was expecting rejection. But how many of us are passing over the opportunity to change somebody's life? It doesn't have to be in a room full of people with witnesses. Sometimes it's a stranger that you may tune into, and God wants to use you to touch that person, you know? And there's another saying, the same people you meet on your way up, you can meet on your way down. So therefore, I personally don't look down on anybody. And in my opinion, I'm not too good to talk or approach anyone. And I don't think anyone else is better than I am. Because life, man, people got it distorted. They got it twisted. Everything is a comparison and a competition. How about, instead of competition and comparison, how about compassion and cooperation? You know? Commitment to be more than just someone who is in this thing to do for self. You know? And I've heard sayings like, you can't keep what you have unless you give it away. And for me, speaking from a recovery standpoint, I have found that to be true. I've gotten so much strength and made it through so many difficult days when I stepped outside of myself, you know, because sometimes my head is not the place to be. I look for a break from me, you know what I mean? I don't know. I wouldn't be happy with just being self-absorbed like I used to be. I don't know. I guess that's why I got high and drank, because I wasn't comfortable in my own skin. And I got on my nerves, and I didn't know any other better way to deal with it. But now I know when I get on my own nerves today, there's plenty of work that I can do that's greater than, me. There's always a bigger picture. So, of course, you guys know I'm not an ordained minister. I'm not an elder. I'm not an apostle. I'm not an evangelist. I don't even sing in the choir. So I ain't a choir boy either. But I'm going to tell you something. It's real for me. Life is real. And I'm real. And my relationship with God, who is my higher power, is real. And it's the only reason why I'm alive and well today. He had mercy on me. And if we want to be a reflection of him, you can't do that without having mercy on someone else. If you want to be forgiven, we have to learn how to forgive. If you want help, some people say, if you want help, you got to seek it. Nah, but sometimes, if you want help, we reach out to someone who may be in a worse situation than we are. Sometimes the help you need is the help you need to give. And I look at life, man, and life is an amazing process. And there's a lot of people in this world who don't want you to really experience your life. I don't know what their motivations are, but I know it to be a fact. There are some people in this world who profit off of your misery, who profit off of your ignorance and lack of self-awareness, who profit from your lack of a spiritual foundation. There's people who get rich off of dysfunction. They don't want you to find your calling so that you can be content and productive. No, they want you to always look for someone else to fix you. There's a reason why we do have doctors. There's a reason why we do have other professionals who are trained to do certain things in our lives. I have no problem with that. I truly do believe in working closely with counselors and doctors when you're trying to recover from an addiction, or you're dealing with a depression, or you're dealing with anxiety, or any other ailment. I think it's wise to seek professional help. At the same time, we play a role in our destiny with our attitudes. An attitude of gratitude that will help you to maintain, gain, expand. And to me, that's the measure of success. It's not about the bank account, the car, the house, the address, the fancy friends, the galas, the exclusive meetings and all of that crap. Your title. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, my greatest title for me is Michael. That's the name that I was given. That's my title. That's all I need. Don't need anything before it or after it. But I'm loving on you guys. I know I'm talking a lot. I didn't even go to the throne of grace, but sometimes, you know what? You don't have to do a certain ritual to be in prayer. There's a such thing as a living prayer. And sometimes your testimony is a prayer. Because when we go into prayer, what do we want? We want to hear from God. And sometimes, you don't have to close your eyes or bow your head. He'll speak to you. and you'll hear from him. But it's a matter of being open-minded and having an open heart. So there's a lot going on in this city, a lot going on in this world. And I'm sure you at home, you got a lot going on too. So I'm just here with you this evening just to spend this time. I'm grateful for it. I feel blessed by having this opportunity and this platform. It's a new year here at the studio. Lapa is going to continue to manage it, and I'm praying for all of the staff here at this studio who work so hard to make our programs a success. You guys don't see them, but you see their work consistently, and it's excellent. They're so dedicated and so knowledgeable. You wouldn't believe how much experience, that is in this studio right here tonight. And I only have 2 people working in the studio tonight, but there's more experience and expertise here than on the sets of CNN, trust me. If they can make somebody like me who has no television training, if they can make me comfortable sitting in front of a live camera, I would say they know what they're doing. Because Dave comes in, he's setting up the views. He and Deanna are coordinating the angles. He takes care of your guests. When your guests come, he makes them feel comfortable. He makes sure that they have what they need. He wants the set to be just like you want it. If he don't like how it looks, he's going to tell you and make suggestions. You don't get that level of engagement, and I think that they should be well compensated for what they do. And because number one, they deserve it because they're experienced, they're knowledgeable, they've been flexible, the equipment has been upgraded, they've boned up on how to work the new equipment. You don't get that, without effort. And this is a profession for these guys. These guys need to make a living doing what they're doing. And if anyone is in a decision-making capacity who's watching this, please make sure that these guys get taken care of, because I need them. I don't want to see none of them go. It's a package deal. I need these guys here. I'm afraid what would happen if they weren't. So I've been on this channel now, I guess maybe about 10 years or so, and I've seen them work, man. I've seen them work, and I've benefited from them helping me grow. So at home, I'm just glad that you're engaged with us on this channel, because this is your channel. I didn't have a guest tonight, but I feel like I was a guest in your home, and so I'm humbled by that. And thank you for having me in your home. With the new year, it brings new promises. May bring some new challenges, but you're going to be all right. You're going to be up to it. You can do this thing called life for sure. You've been doing it this long, But the blessed part about it is you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. Don't forsake your spirituality. You may not be in a church on a Sunday, but that doesn't mean that you don't have a relationship with God. Let it get stronger, because he's here for us and he's real. So we have come to that magic hour. It's time to wrap it up until the first Friday in February at 7:30 p.m. I'm Michael Riley. Thank you for watching From the Basement to the Upper Room. God bless you and have a blessed evening.